wa kanisa hili Terer ambao umetualika kwa ukarimu mwingi na umetuletea speaker Ben Sang ambaye ametulisha kabisa kiroho. Nasema asante sana. Unajua mimi ni mhubiri mwenye uzoefu mwingi. Sisemi hiyo kama bragging rights, but nasema kama ni ukweli. Nimesikiliza neno and I listened to the message from the heart of a pastor. I want to say may God bless you. You are so honest, so open, so truthful. Thank you so much. May God bless you. Unaenda mbali. Ndugu viongozi, wajumbe wa bunge walio hapa, itifaki zote ikizingatiwa, viongozi wa serikali na wa vyama mlio hapa, ndugu wa Kristo, Bwana asifiwe. Salamu za mwaka mpya. Kwa sababu siku hii ni yako, ndugu kiongozi wa walio wengi, na kwa ruhusa yako umetukubalia tuseme maneno mawili matatu. Mimi kwa sababu neno limetajwa sasa, na pastor ulifanya vizuri kuweka cutline kwamba ibada sasa imeisha, tunaenda sehemu ya pili ya mazungumzo. Na sisi ni wa Kristo. Yaani watu wengine mnaangalia viongozi mnaona ni makafiri. Mnaanza kusema hata sadaka hatutaki kutoka kwao. Ziuni wa bunwas. Mimi ni mhubiri wa miaka mingi ambaye nilihubiri mpaka nikaenda retire. Naitwa Bishop Emeritus. Manake nilihubiri nikaondoka kasini and I was not defrocked. Nilienda na nguo zenye mafuta. Na nimehubiria watu wengi katika Jamhuri ya Kenya, kontinenti ya Afrika, nimehubiri Asia, nimehubiri Europa, Amerika kwa muda sasa wa miaka 50 from 1974. Sasa mimi nikienda kanisa kupeleka changizo ya kujenga kanisa, mwenzangu askofu huko anasema mimi ni nani? Then you have a problem. I'm speaking on behalf of the leaders. And I wish to make the following comments today kuhusu mambo ya kanisa. Asante Kiborek amenena, ndugu yangu amenena, but I think I have more authority to speak and respond to the letter of the church. Sindio? Nilisikiliza barua na nikasoma barua ya kanisa, baadaye karudiwa na NCCK. Na naomba watu wa habari wachukue vizuri, maana mmetapatapa sana mkitafuta ukweli iko wapi. And I wish to make the following comments. Number one, why I believe that was not a pastoral letter. And I wish to repeat. The reason why I believe, in my view, as a theologian and as a leader, that was not a pastoral letter. Between 1964, 65 thereabout, we had the first assassination of Pio Gama Binto, who was an activist. 1969, we had two things. Tom Joseph Mboya was politically assassinated, and then the oath taking by one community in 1969. And then in 1976, there was assassination of J.M. Kariuki. Between that time and before Mzee arrested, Jomo Kenyatta, there were bishops who spoke to government very strongly. In fact, they spoke two things. One, truth to power, including Reverend John Gatu, the leader of PCA, who stood against oath-taking in Central Province. He did so very strongly and putting strongly worded statements, including Henry Okulu. But they never disrespected the president, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. In fact, in his memoir, he wrote these words, that I was disturbed that my president, whom I loved, was associated with the oath-taking. They never became reckless in their letter. They rebuked, they spoke truth to power. At the same time, they spoke in love and recognized that authority came from God. In 1978, Moi took over as acting president for 3 months. In 1979, he was elected the president, and he was the only candidate. Immediately after the coup attempt of 1982, the church began to profile Moi as an epic of dictatorship. And for 24 years, they resisted him. In fact, they called him all sorts of names, but they never disrespected him. They still called him His Excellency, the President. You were there, Kiunjuri. My friend, Onesimus Ngujiri. You were there. You were chairman of KANU at one point. Moi was vilified for 24 years. David Kitare was leading the onslaught. People like Njoya did the same, and at one time almost lost his life. But he never disrespected the president in all the writings that were given. They resisted, but they still believe that all leadership comes from God. Why? We are trained that we respect the ground. In this case, we respect the coat of arms. Once the leader is putting it on as a symbol of authority, we respect that. He may be the wrong person, he may be too short, he may be looking ugly. Respect the throne, because it is the honor of the nation. And then the rest followed. I wish to comment the following today. When I went through the letter, I got disturbed because the letter is more seditious than pastoral. It is encouraging insurgency. It is calling Kenyans to rebel. It is disturbing. We are spiritual leaders and we are political leaders of this country, and this nation will be defined by how we lead them. And I wish to conclude by saying such statements, and that statements made on that type were made by clergymen between 1927 and 1994 in one of the neighboring countries. They set communities against each other. I will not name them, but it culminated in one of the worst genocide in 1994 that almost annihilated the nation. In his findings in research, Timothy Lone wrote in his research, and I would like you to listen because I'm not speaking from just empty words. And when I speak both as an elder and as a spiritual leader and as one of the leaders. And I want to say this. Lone said the genocide in one of the East Africans was sanctioned by the wordings and the blessings of the church. There were 3 churches combined that did the same. I conclude by saying the letter, and I criticize it, and I'm criticizing it from the pulpit, that letter calling the president a liar, really? Branding the president as akin to a murderer. When you are talking about femicides, majority of people who were killed by people who are known by the same victims. Some were boyfriends, some were relatives, some are people who are known to them. And you heap it on the president as to tell the Kenyan people that he bears the responsibility. I want to appeal, like the other leaders have done. Let us all avoid at all costs anything that can put this country at war with itself. Because those who would like to do so will not be there when peace agreement will be written. Because it takes time. I am appealing as a consumer of peace on behalf of all watu wote Mugumbaya nilituitwa na watu wengine. When a bomb, when strife comes in this country, we are the first consumers. And you saw it when I was in Parliament, Honorable Kigaria. When everybody was running away, we spoke with Rose Museu that we cannot run. And I told her sister, let us sit here. Let us wait for these children to come. In any case, my age is no longer complaining. At 70, I have no problem because I've had what I needed. And I waited for them. And the young men came. What they told me when we were coming out, they told me, Bishop, we honor you, we respect you, we will tell you the truth. This is not about the finance bill. It is about regime change. And I told them, sons, you think we can do this without a cost? They said, go tell the president we are going to do it. And when you say you are going to do it, that's a very risky business, you know. You can succeed or you may not. And what can happen in the country is irreversible. So I see my brother Paul is asking me to mind the time. May I conclude by saying this? The letter, therefore, it is laced with sedition, and the letter became arrogant, disrespectful, and became irresponsible. I am appealing to the bishops and moderators to mind what we are going to say and say to a country that has just come from a politically instigated violence of 2007. I was among the people who were in the front line looking for peace. I was in Hague at AICC, and I presented this country, spoke and addressed the court for 3.5 hours. I have the authenticity today to appeal to the church in the country to pray for the country. Let us support this country, and if the president needs anything, we can see him, we can consult with him. During Kibaki time, we used to be mobilized by Bishop Njue. When Kenyans are disagreeing, they say, come, we go. And my friend Muheria and others. During Uhuru, we did the same. Why not during Ruto's time? If there is any issue, we can, as a church, we can consult. He's a Christian and he has never denounced the faith. So I'm appealing to all Kenyans, like my brother Onesimus and other speakers have spoken, let us stay in peace. Ang buj ngalego jo, marori yenjigel da nebaji. Ngozamis moria, ngumoga se. Yung kibendi ke maje go bekchi botan gelo age chom ye bigab Rift Valley kimi bigab kap kogo mil meg mingo amo wechi che chok tul gi to je boy se kyo ko big che gi nyoro ko ga ko taj boy se kyo che jen ko mag tuai unata ge amat ke tuage o si se na kwe ago mo to chom ye tul Wakikuyu, Wajaluo na Wakisii wamekuja hapa. Mamaji, sasa nyinyi mko na constituency hapa, hata MP ni Mkisii kutoka hapa, hata Wakisii. O jebaga mama, o kasis jebaga mama ingi woto linga bunu jitab sot. Ke chomye ke ku agenge. Biikab Kalenjin ongeku nakenge ako kuya kamwa murenjo kiotebi akotebi ole ngomo ngololi komake ngololi amu in kotokosete werinyo kotom kotebi komie. Ako kotebi anyun komie. Kakimong anyun chebo. Ake mangu kubesyo kibaenyak ak tilyenyi. Kityo ra eng kanisa kemoche kekonok chirset kityo kele mayai ng'alek. Nekibe sinekibe tuyet as nimbo kokwa olin. Bas kongoi mising amakwa kenyit ne lel nebo kaberuret. Asante sana.